Hello, good morning. I have a little nuggets, one or two nuggets for singles this morning. My name is Kate. I'm a lawyer, a relationship coach, and a marriage counselor extraordinaire. Singles, what are the things you look out for in a guy? If you're a single woman, what are the things you look out for in a guy? What are the things? What are your hopes and aspirations for wanting to be in a relationship? Is it because your friends are married, or is it because you just want to be seen with somebody, or is it because you feel that time is running out, or is it because you feel the guy is so rich and so wealthy, or it's got he lives in a mansion or drives an expensive car? What are the things you look out for in a relationship? When you go to, obviously, if you're planning to build a house, you don't just take money and start buying things or employing people to do that. You sit back and you calculate the things you need, you require in order to put that building up. So first of all, you look at the location of the land. You look at you go and get the quantity surveyor to do the survey after buying the land, and then you get the building plan in order to get permission to put up a particular building at that particular location. And then of course you get the architects to do the drawing, and then employ the engineers and obviously the building engineers to then carry out the building to your satisfaction. And of course you have to think of how to lay a strong foundation. But at the time you started that building, of course, you're visualizing, looking at the future. What are the things required in order to make that home comfortable for you? So to say, if that is a home that you plan to live in later upon completion. So the same thing, a lot of times people just look at love. They look at the feeling and the way they feel about a man or a woman at the beginning, but they don't sort of visualize. You have to be purposeful in trying to get into a relationship, into a marriage relationship, because marriage relationship can actually either make or mar you. If a lot of lives have been destroyed because of people who actually think about the superficial things in trying to make up their mind in order to get into a relationship. They think about beauty, they look at money, they look at the mansion where the man lives, they look at societal stratification, the social class and all of that. Those are not the things that makes up a happy and successful relationship. You have to think about things like, I think basically the fear of God is very important in trying to make up your mind to, obviously, to live, to say I do, because a man or woman who has the fear of God will actually be careful when in the future they're trying to deal with you in every ramifications. The fear of God is what keeps that man and that woman to continue to obviously stick to that marriage vow, understanding that a marriage vow is not made only to. The marriage vow is not just between you and him. The marriage vow is between you, him, and of course the third person who is the Almighty God. So the fear of God is what keeps a relationship going. The fear of God is what keeps couples, that no matter what, no matter the difficulties and challenges they meet in that relationship, they're going to stick together, keep to their marriage vow, and then obviously get on together. The fear of God is what curtails our excesses as humans. Anyone who has the fear of God will not wake up one day and decide to either abandon his wife or the husband to be with another woman or to be with another man, abandoning the children. A lot of times people complain about not being raised by their fathers. Their fathers abandoned them when they were young. But the thing is, it has become an acceptable practice to the extent that even the people who were victims of such bad practices by their own father, they keep repeating that same thing that they complained about, i.e. abandoning their wives and children and then moving on to be with another woman. It is the fear of God that makes people to become futuristic in making choices. It is the fear of God that curtails the excesses of a man. It is the fear of God that despite the level of testosterone that is in a man, he is able to obviously think about God and the consequences of his actions, and he controls himself. It is the fear of God that makes a man to understand that not every woman that is out there in the street, no matter how beautiful, no matter how gorgeous, not every woman is meant for him. It is the fear of God that curtails the excesses of both men and women. It is the fear of God that makes people to keep to their promises because they have the fear of God. It is the fear of God that makes people to remember the consequences of their actions. So singles, when next you're ticking your list of the things that you require in a man before you, or in a woman before you say I do, the very first thing you should look out for in any man or any woman is the fear of God. The fear of God helps us to keep to our vows. The fear of God helps us to helps to check our excesses. The fear of God reminds us of the consequences of our actions. And so I hope you've been blessed by this single nugget. The nugget for today, Monday, it's looking out for a man who has the fear of God, or a woman who has the fear of God. The fear of God does it in most relationships. If you see couples who are together, they tell you they've been together 20 years, 30 years, 35 years. It's not like they don't have issues, but it is the fear of God that makes every man and every woman to decide to stick to each other, to decide to be conscious about the way they deal with each other, to decide to be because love is a decision. It's not it's a choice. You can choose to love somebody, and you can choose not to love somebody. You can choose to be kind to somebody, and you can choose to be bad to that person. So it is the fear of God that controls the excesses of man and woman, that makes us to remember the consequences of every action that we take, especially when it comes to courtships and marriage relationships. So I hope you've been blessed this morning by this little nugget. When next you are looking for that man or that woman, the most important thing you should look out is the fear of God. I'll be on your way soon. God bless you. Bye-bye.